I'm Alex Russell. I'm the director of Lurker.
My name is Zach Fox. I play Sweat in Lurker.
My name is Theodore Pellerin, and I play Matthew in Lurker.
My name is Archie Madekwi, and I play Oliver.
I'm Havana Rose Liu, and I play Shy in Lurker.
To start off, Alex, I'm curious, what's the origin story of this project? You kind of talk about where this came from and how you set about bringing it to reality.
Yeah, sure. Well, all my friends are in music to this day, and I've just seen the dynamics in the movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I haven't yet.
They're all these characters that are sitting here are sort of archetypes to me. I've seen them all over and over again, and I think when COVID started, I just started writing about what I thought was funny about kind of the music world in LA, and I think it was just a scene at first, and then COVID just kept going, so I kept writing it, and then it became a 100-page script, and here it is. Here we are.
Well, for you guys, once you got to set, kind of how did you go about kind of settling the character dynamics? Was that all kind of in the script? Was it a discussion with Alex? Did you guys talk amongst yourselves to kind of figure out how you would all relate to each other on camera?
I think the really brilliant thing about the script is it's so clear, the dynamics and the hierarchy and the kind of the status of all the characters. I think finding the constant shifts in power and the kind of nuances of power shifts, of feeling like someone has the power and someone taking it back and not knowing where it's sitting in the scene. Those are the kind of fun things that we would play around with. I think oftentimes we were talking about this earlier on yesterday about the idea of obsession and power, and if our thoughts changed about it throughout the film. And often you think there is someone who's an obsessor and then the other side, and actually it's way more. I found that the power was constantly ebbing and flowing. You're as much as somebody. Sometimes you're addicted to the feeling of giving power and taking power, and I think that was the big thing for Oliver in this. It's the feeling of being obsessed over, the feeling of being wanted was an obsession for him as well. It was something that he needed and craved, and so even when it started to feel bad, there was a bit of it that felt good, and finding those moments it was all very interesting.
We did go through it with Alex quite significantly, but prior to sort of bridge out who was playing what role in the ecosystem that was created in the house. And I think you used animal metaphors, you used what else? We talked.
Oh yeah, the chimps. The chimps are super important.
Yeah.
I also feel I don't know, in creating the ensemble, you want, especially in LA, it's no one in this group is from there. Maybe one or two of the characters are, and everyone looks different, and he's British, and it's kind of this LA idea of this vacuum of a hierarchy where everyone has just come together and created their own power structure. So it was really important to me to sort of establish a foundation that felt like a true ensemble, an authentic feeling of Zach's character, or Wale's character, or Sunny, who is coming at some point to this interview. They're all very entrenched in the music world and in sort of the LA scene. So being around them, even just in a scene, feels like you're there. And then I've got these two guys doing this very intense drama on top of it, in a way that if they're enmeshed in it, then the drama and the intensity of their relationship can kind of take you by surprise, later in the movie.
What was, as you were developing this, I mean, you've won an Emmy for writing. As you were preparing to direct this, what was your North Star? What was the best piece of advice that kind of kept you going when you were actually on set?
Okay. I see that as two different questions. I think the North Star for me was always I don't know, if you write something, you have sort of you have a thermometer or a radar for what is the thing that you're going for, and it's always a little bit vague at the beginning, but it converges and it gets clearer and clearer over time. Once you have a cast, you're oh, maybe they wouldn't say it this way, or maybe I can tweak this a little bit. Then you see it on the monitor and you're like, okay, this needs to be a little bit different. So there's just this like, it's kind of a cringe meter actually, of like, this is like kind of wrong. I don't know why. It needs to go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. And then as long as you're staying true to that kind of feeling, then you've got it figured out. Or that's all I could trust, I guess, coming from writing. What was the second thing?
What was the best piece of advice you got when that was kind of keeping you going while you were on set?
Man, did anyone give me any? God. Oh yeah, that's kind of a flex. Okay, so yes, Baz Luhrmann gave me a great piece of advice, and he wrote it in my notebook, and it said something like, when you're showing the rough cut to people, I guess this applies during production too, but the idea is like, when you're showing stuff to people, listen to everyone else's opinions, like hear them out, and then go into a corner and listen to yourself. And I found that to be actually very applicable throughout the whole process, because it's such a balance of, is this making sense? Are you confused by the scene? Like, for any actor, for any department head, for any audience member, like, you want them to be on board with the thing that you're trying to tell. And then you have to be like, but is this the thing that I wanted to do? And then you sort of find a balance between those two.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm getting the wrap signal.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Congrats on the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.